Welcome to Horror Shmorror, where we chop down and funk around with all sorts of freaky fright flicks.
I chopped down and funked around with your father last night. Yes.
I don't exactly know how to respond to that. Maybe I should just take you back to the Home Depot.
No, the smells, the ass cracks. I cannot. Please, continue.
I'm Plumpkin Z Pumpkin, that's Corbo, and tonight we're pizzing around with one of the greatest horror remakes of all time, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay, first off, birds do not piss. We take combo shits. Two, I've actually never seen this film.
Oh, Corbo, you're in for a treat.
Oh, is it worms? No? Then play the fucking movie, okay?
We start off over the snowy plains of Antarctica. A Norwegian research helicopter chases an Alaskan Malamute with deadly intent. Meanwhile, at a nearby U.S. National Science Station, the boys are throwing a rager. Helicopter pilot McCready.
Oh my god, it's the fucking thing!
No, Corbo. That's Kurt Russell. A hairy, level-headed individual who pours whiskey into computers when he loses at chess.
This does not bode well for his future wife.
Cheating bitch.
The dog soon arrives at the station and seeks refuge with the team members, but the Norwegians are close behind. The pilot's a few fries short of a Happy Meal and hucks the grenade in reverse. Instead of bailing, he tries to recover it and ends up taking a flight to Boston. The gunner's still dropping hot lead, so Commanding Officer Gary hits him with a headshot and serves him his last cock push-up.
What's a cock push-up?
The dog handler Clark takes in the Malamute from the cold. They try to report the incident, but radio operator Windows can't reach shit.
I haven't been able to reach shit!
Dr. Copper wants to fly to the Norwegian base, so after a weather approval from Bennings, he and McCready gear up.
They don't need a helicopter, they can just fly on his fucking hat.
Meanwhile, the dog is creeping around, looking for naked chicks, but can only find psycho men staring into oblivion. They arrive to a destroyed compound.
Hey, Sweden!
But they find only creates more unease. A frozen, mutilated body, documents and records strewn about, and a giant ice block from which they dug up Shaq. I see. Outside, they discover a horrifically mangled corpse, which, along with the documents, they decide to bring back to base camp. The boys gather to make sense of the gruesome discoveries, while Blair conducts a gyno exam.
Appears to be, anyway, a normal set of internal organs.
The atmosphere is a little more tense this night, and some members are more jumpy than usual.
Like the Virgin, touched for the very first time.
They decide to cage the dog that's been roaming around freely since its arrival. Something's not right here, and that's when the puke hits the fan. The supposed animal peels back its disguise and shits its face off.
Interesting.
The creature begins to lube up one of the dogs when Clark comes back to check on the commotion. The team soon hears the madness and catches that bish without its makeup. Injured, it grows arms and tries to escape through the roof before Charles comes with the flamethrower and hits it with the heat. The next day, Blair conducts a new autopsy on the creature.
Hold up, my belly is empty. I need some food. I was thinking of going to the dumpster in the back of the Long John Silver's for some crab. You want anything?
The autopsy reveals that the creature was stopped in the process of imitating its prey. Suspicion and mistrust start to settle in on the crew.
How long were you alone with that dog?
What the hell are you looking at me like that for?
When reviewing the Norwegian recordings, the boys discover they had dug up something from Ice Age! A trip to the dig site reveals the Starship Enterprise, and that they had thawed out one stale-ass ice cube. Later that night, Childs gives his input.
I just cannot believe any of this voodoo bullshit. You believe any of this voodoo bullshit?
They ponder the voodoo bullshit, while Knowles comes in with some crucial questions.
What are you disrespectful men been tossing his dirty drawers in the kitchen trash can?
Where else do you put the bacon strips?
Why does he clutch the shitty pants so tight?
Blair's in the office watching some ass simulation when the computer dishes him some bad news. What Windows and Bennings don't know is that there's still cellular activity within the corpses, and this one's gushing like a fruit snack. Unfortunately, it's too late for Bennings, who was momentarily left alone with the bodies. Thing Bennings tries to flee the camp, but is not fully transformed, so he stumbles in the snow. When the team catches up, it lets out a terrifying wail.
I've heard these same sounds coming from your bathroom after a 2 a.m. Taco Bell run.
After cozying up around the Thing Bennings campfire, McGreedy sees Blair sneaking away from the chopper and soon realizes it's been sabotaged. Gonna smash everything, don't know what to do, stay the fuck out my way, cause
I'll kill you!
he's eventually subdued and locked away in an outside shack for a timeout. The idea of a blood test under microscope is considered, but someone has already gotten to the reserves.
Hey, you guys, come here!
Accusations, mistrust, and panic quickly befall the men. Windows freaks out.
He can be one of those things!
Gary is no longer trusted as the commander,
I guess you'll all feel a little easier if somebody else was in charge.
and McGreedy assumes command.
You should be somebody a little more even-tempered, Childs.
They tie up and sedate those under suspicion. Fuchs is working through the night to develop a new test when the power goes out. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring except an extremely hostile, shape-shifting extraterrestrial organism.
Who's that?
He tries to follow them outside where he finds the torn clothes of McGreedy. Over an hour later, they realize Fuchs is missing and head out to search for him.
We all meet back here in 20 minutes regardless.
They stop by Blair to ask if he's seen anything, but Blair only wants to show how desperate he is to get back inside.
I don't want to stay out here anymore. I want to come back inside. Hey, wait a minute.
Oh shit, fucking rejected.
They soon stumble upon the charred corpse of Fuchs. It appears that he's burned himself, probably before the thing could get to him. McGreedy notices a light on up in his cabin and heads up to inspect it with Knowles, while Windows goes back inside. About 45 minutes pass before the team decides they need to lock it down. Norris spots Santa Claus.
Hey! All of you, come here!
No, it's just Knowles. When they let him in, Knowles tells them he found some of McCready's shredded clothes in the cabin, so he ditched him.
I cut him loose.
He cut him loose?
He cut him loose?
I cut him loose.
They jump to conclusion that McGreedy is a thing, and when he makes it back to camp, they refuse to let him in.
Let's open it. Hell no.
He breaks in through a supply closet window and has turned himself into a walking bomb so they won't kill him.
Back off. Way off.
Knowles and Norris try to pull a jack move but fail. In the process, Norris seemingly has a heart attack. They rush him to the operating table where Copper tries to resuscitate him with the defibrillator.
Sweethearts, you're about to have yourselves a little lynching party, huh?
He widely accepts the help, chomping down on Copper's arms and tearing them off, or at least one arm, and Copper somehow rips off his other arm himself. A thing then rises up from Norris's body before they flame broil it. In a disgusting turn of events, his head parts from the body.
It looks like Zippo.
Zippo?
Zippo rolling down the side of your table.
No, you... Oh my god! What the fuck, you foul-ass bird?
Yes, smell it, love it, taste it.
Ugh, where were we? The head tries to sneak away, but they catch it in the act.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
I actually like this little guy. He's stupid, you know what I'm saying? Seems like a genuine dude. Anyways, they roast him like a mini marshmallow. McCready wants to tie everyone up on some kink shit, but Clark refuses to be a victim. McGrady believes that any part of the organism will try to defend itself if attacked. And if he puts a hot needle to its blood, it should react.
The blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked.
Drawing blood from each of the members while practicing appropriate sterilization techniques, he tests and clears them one by one. But when he gets to Palmer, the blood violently reacts, and a mini blood thing makes a brief appearance. Palmer's been tucking this toot way too long, and begins to spontaneously combust. He lets it rip, only to come back down with an empty tummy and feast on Windows' head. McGrady soon gets the flamethrower working again and roasts that beef, finishing him off with a little spice. Windows is beginning to transform, so they hit him with the heat as well. They continue the tests until they clear Childs and Gary and untie them from the last one to test is Blair, but when they head out to a shack, he's nowhere to be found. Beneath some loose floorboards, they find a hollowed-out cave where Blair has been stealing helicopter parts to fabricate a flying saucer.
That's so fucking cute. I can't even fit my dick in there. I hope he's got premium unleaded rocket fuel.
They plant dynamite down the hole to put an end to Blair's little project before observing Childs leaving the camp. Moments later, the generator shut down. The crew accepts their fate of sooner or later freezing to death.
What can we do?
They must blow up the camp in hopes of killing the thing so that it doesn't get found later by a rescue team. They return to the main building to destroy each and every room until all that remains is the basement. Although not too far from each other, they foolishly split up to plant the TNT. And that's when Imitation Blair strikes, creeping up behind Gary and giving him a taste of sweaty man palm. Knowles catches a glimpse of Gary being dragged and heads over to join the party to suffer the most brutal of fates. Death by budgeting constraint. McGrady soon finds himself alone. The thing seizes the opportunity to come at him in the open. It bursts from the ground to flex up.
He must work out.
McGrady scoops up his lit TNT, does a super cool somersault, and before launching it, drops a hot one-liner.
Yeah, fuck you too!
The thing wails before exploding, and the entire camp follows suit.
What, is he the fucking Flash? Did he barrel hole up the stairs and down the hallway? How did he get out of there?
Exhausted, a hobo stumbles to a safe area and collapses. Childs is lurking in the shadows, sad that he missed the weenie roast.
Where were you, Childs?
He claims he went out after Blair and got lost in the snow, and now he just wants to cuddle up next to the campfire.
Maybe we should.
Voodoo bullshit.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
But he's not too faded for one last laugh, handing Childs a bottle of booze that may or may not have a little piss in it.
Yes, continue.
Oh, well, that's it, Corbo. A brilliant ending to a brilliant film.
No, but wait, I have questions. Did Blair infect himself with the eraser tip? Did Palmer infect Childs with the doobie? Can you get infected by the shitty underwear? Why is Copper hanging dong with his shoes on?
Oh, look, Corbo, the truth is, even though this movie is a masterpiece and Carpenter did an incredible job thinking it through, there are still a few overlooked things and a couple continuity errors that can keep the conversation going round and round forever. There was an alternate ending, but Carpenter chose to leave it on a cliffhanger, so that's how it is, and that's how it's gonna be.
Fuck that shit. I just have one more question. What happened to Zip Up?
Oh yeah, that reminds me, I gotta wash my fucking hand and my mouth.
Resistance is futile.